Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. Which club should Declan Rice choose? It's almost becoming a choice between mercenary and morality. Should he go to Man City, where they've already won everything and you probably will continue to win everything? Or should you go to the runner-up Arsenal, who, if you go in there, you could be the catalyst that makes them good enough to topple Man City? Interesting, really interesting, and I want to cover both sides on this. But I saw a post on social media today, and it was interestingly received by the rest of Twitter, I suppose, because it said, there's no way Declan Rice should be choosing Man City. You look around social media, Arsenal fans are going through a roller coaster of desperation because they desperately want Declan Rice at Arsenal. Man City fans are just indifferent because that's what Man City fans are like. They don't get excited. They're not obsessed about Declan Rice because ultimately they're the best team in the world. They win it every year, and Declan Rice is just another player to add to a good selection of players where if you go to Arsenal, you'll be revered, you'll be a captain, you could be the catalyst. And I get that, but then you get people ridiculing it, saying Declan Rice won't take any notice of social media. It's not really about social media, though, is it? It isn't really about social media. This is about a team that's just won the treble, which is the best team in the world, and the team that came second, that weren't that far off, but ultimately fell short because they lacked in certain areas, certainly in certain areas that Declan Rice could potentially fill. I don't massively care what Declan Rice chooses to do. I think if he chooses Man City, it's an easy option. It's great money. You get to play with a great team, with a great manager, but you're not really a catalyst for change. If Declan Rice isn't at Man City next season, I still think they can win the treble. If Declan Rice is at is there next year, I still think they can win the treble. I don't think Declan Rice really makes Man City any better or worse. If he goes to Arsenal, he could be the catalyst, like I say, that takes them to the next level, and he could be the difference. And I suppose that's what it's about, being an individual. You know, Declan Rice can make whatever choice he wants to make, and we as individuals can observe what we like. You know, ultimately, footballers can't say, well, nobody's got a right to say what I should and shouldn't do, and yet you want 300 grand a week because fans pay you wages, because brands and everybody else who pump money into Man United, into football, do it because they want the fans' eyes on it. You know, any brand doesn't sponsor your football club because they feel like it. They do it because they want the fans of that football club to buy their products. So look, I've seen a few people saying about this. I mean, I've seen David James, ex Man City and Liverpool, saying it's an easy choice. He's got to go to Manchester City. I've seen other people saying, oh, it's an easy choice. He's got to go to Arsenal. But I look at it like this and say, Arsenal have wooed Declan Rice for at least 7 months. They've put a lot of work in. They've told him about the project. It's based in London, which is where he is. You're in the Champions League. You're straight into the team. You'll probably be the captain in no time. You'll be the star of this team. You'll be the fun. You'll have a lot more freedom in this team. This is a young, focused team that took 43 points from its first 48 last season. We're not far off. And players like you and Havertz and Timber can take us to that next level. It's an exciting project, and we want you to be part of it. Really exciting. And then you've got Pep Guardiola going, we've just won the treble, we really like you, I can make you a better player, we'll probably win the treble again, we'll pay you really well, come to Man City. And straight away, although I did it in different voices, the Man City one, there's probably more reward there financially and trophy wise, but the Arsenal one, for me, drags me towards it. But that's what we're all on about here, isn't it? We're all different. Some people will think, I fancy the Man City one. You know, I do fancy that. Great money, win things, don't really have to work as hard. At Arsenal, it might all go wrong, and I'm going to have to work harder. But the rewards are bigger. I think that my feeling is Declan Rice will choose Arsenal, because I just think from what I've seen of him, that befits the sort of character that he is. There are big warning signs at Man City as well. Jack Grealish didn't get into the team straight away. It took him a year. Calvin Phillips never got into the team. So it might not work for him there. Whereas I think at Arsenal, they'll make it work because it's such a big investment for them. It has to work. Whereas at Man City, Pep can sort of bin and drop and, rest and take his time on any project he goes. Of course, there's other things to bear in mind as well that just dropped into my head. There are 115 charges hanging over Man City that at some point in the next 2 or 3 years probably will come to fruition. Now, it might be that it gets swept under the carpet completely. It might be that there are big sanctions coming down the road. Is that stability for Declan Rice? Also, Pep Guardiola probably won't be here in 2 or 3 years' time. Is that stability for Declan Rice? Look, my stance on this, and I'm not popular with Man City fans. I don't really know why. I say it how it is. I personally think Man City fans, I would actually respect and understand if a Man City fan got in the comments and went, if I was Declan Rice, I'd go to Arsenal. Not because I don't want him at Man City, not because I don't think he'd be a good player at Man City, but ultimately, do we need Declan Rice at Man City? We're probably going to play Rodri, Gundogan's gone, Rodri, Kovacic, De Bruyne. You know, where does Declan Rice go next to Rodri? I mean, Declan Rice isn't really known for his attacking talent. I mean, I think he can do it, but not to the extent Gundogan can. You know, I personally think Man City could go for somebody a little bit more attacking than Declan Rice to play next to Rodri. So I think Arsenal's the club for Declan Rice to go to. I don't agree with the story from Italy, from Damasio, that Man City are winning this race. I don't actually get the feeling they do. I don't think it really matters to me personally where he goes. I would add into the equation, I'd love him at Man United, because I think, like Arsenal, we can offer him a position that he can own for the next 5 to 10 years. He can become the captain and he can drive the clubs to the next level. He can't drive Man City to the next level. Man City are already at the level. They're at the peak. There's nowhere else for Man City to go. All they can do is repeat their level. You know, if they do the treble 2 years in a row, no one's ever done that before, but they have done the treble. They have won the league multiple times. They've won the Champions League now. I just think at Arsenal it's more credible. But on the other hand, and this is the kicker, credible, morality, these don't exist in football anymore, people. It doesn't. I said this the other day. People moaning about Saudi Arabia. I said this to you 2 weeks ago. The Saudi Arabian League will start to buy players that are not coming up for retirement. They will start to buy players who are in their prime. Bernardo Silva, Ruben Neves. There's that guy from Napoli, I think they're looking for as well. One of their best players last year. The name has completely slipped away from me. Begins with an L. Morality has gone out of football. Credibility has gone out of football. And we are left with what we have. And a lot of it is about what you can earn in the time that you have. So we can't criticise Declan Rice if he goes to Manchester City because they are the best team in the world at the moment. I would like to see him go to Arsenal. I think it would be a more interesting journey to watch. And ultimately, we're all interested in journeys. We support our team, but for a lot of us, it's not the be-all and end-all. We love football, so we're interested in journeys. And my 2 pennies worth is that I think he should go to Arsenal if it's a choice between Arsenal and Man City. I think it's better for the Premier League if Declan Rice goes to Arsenal as well, because we don't want the Premier League to become the Bundesliga or the French league. And I think we're already at that point nearly. And if Man City beat Arsenal to a player, Man City have already beaten Arsenal comprehensively to the Premier League. So how do Arsenal close this gap if the player they want to help them close the gap goes to the team they're trying to close the gap on? I hope he does go to Arsenal. Whether he will or not, we'll have to wait and see. But get your comments in below. I think we balanced that. I don't think it's as simple as saying it's good against evil, it's mercenary against morality. I think it's opinion against opinion. And ultimately, it will come down to Declan Rice. Get your comments in below. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one.